When I married my wife, I thought I had found someone who would stand by me through everything. Our life together in Seattle was modest but comfortable. Cozy apartment, shared dreams, and weekends hiking in the Cascades. I believed in trust, loyalty, and love, the pillars of our marriage. Or so I thought. For years, I worked long hours as a software engineer, sacrificing time, sleep, and social life, thinking it was for our shared future. She would tell me she was proud of me, but over time, those words began to feel empty, like echoes in an empty room. Little changes began creeping in. She stayed out late, claiming it was friends or networking events. Her phone was suddenly always face down, locked, or just out of reach. At first, I told myself it was nothing. Suspicion can destroy a marriage, I reminded myself. But my gut whispered warnings I could no longer ignore. One evening, she returned home unusually bright and upbeat, almost overcompensating. Her perfume was stronger than usual, a scent unfamiliar but not unpleasant. "How was your day?" I asked casually. She smiled, distracted. "Oh, fine. Busy. You know how it is." The vague answers, the careful avoidance of eye contact, it all set off alarm bells. A few days later, through a mutual friend, I learned the truth. She hadn't been honest. Not with one man, but with several. The revelation hit like a punch to the chest. I sank into my chair, trying to breathe, trying to process. The woman I shared my home and dreams with had been building secret worlds behind my back. I didn't confront her immediately. I needed to see how far she would go, how brazen she truly was. The tipping point came when she announced her pregnancy. The words should have made my heart leap, but instead, suspicion clawed at my chest. "This is your baby," she said confidently, meeting my eyes with a rehearsed tone. I nodded, forcing a smile. She wanted me to believe it, to accept a child that could easily belong to someone else. That betrayal cut deeper than any lie. I resolved to act quietly, gathering evidence before confronting her. Phone records, text messages, witness statements, even social media activity. I left no stone unturned. Each new piece of information fueled my resolve. I wasn't going to be manipulated, deceived, or trapped into raising a child conceived from infidelity. The right moment came weeks later. She arrived home from one of her supposed meetings with friends, suitcase in hand, radiant, acting as if nothing had happened. "Hi, love," she said, wrapping her arms around me. I didn't move. Her smile faltered for the first time in years. "What's wrong?" she asked, voice trembling slightly. I placed the printed evidence on the kitchen counter, phone records, timestamps, conversations all laid bare. She went pale. "It's not what you think," she stammered. I raised a hand, cutting her off. "I know where you've been. I know about him." She sank onto the couch, burying her face in her hands. The truth had trapped her, and for once I held the power. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she whispered. I laughed bitterly. "You didn't mean to betray me every day, to lie constantly, to build a secret life without me knowing? You didn't mean for any of that." Tears fell down her cheeks, but they didn't soften me. "Do you love him?" I asked finally, voice low, trembling with controlled anger. She looked up, eyes glossy with regret. "I don't know." That single admission, the uncertainty, cut deeper than the affair itself. That night, I slept in the guest room, staring at the ceiling, realizing something I had long ignored. Betrayal doesn't just break trust. It destroys the version of yourself that believed you were safe, chosen, and loved. By morning, I made my decision. I packed a bag quietly. "Where are you going?" she asked, voice cracking. "Somewhere I don't have to question if I trusted the person next to me," I said, brushing past her. She reached out, pleading. "We can fix this, Mark. Please." I turned to her one last time. "You broke us. You didn't just make a mistake. You chose him. And now I choose myself." I left without looking back. The following days were silent, empty, and bitter. Friends tried to console me, but their words slid off like rain on glass. At night, I replayed her smile, her laughter, the promises we once whispered in the dark, but every memory carried the shadow of her lies. Weeks later, an envelope arrived. Divorce papers signed and filed. No note, no apology, only cold ink documenting the end of our marriage. I sat at the table for what felt like hours before I picked up a pen. With a shaky breath, I signed my name. It was the hardest, yet most liberating thing I had ever done. Her lies no longer had power over me. Her betrayal didn't trap me, it freed me. Life after the divorce wasn't perfect, but it was mine. Every day, I rebuilt myself piece by piece, stronger than before. Trust, I realized, is precious, and once broken, it leaves scars, but it also teaches lessons no one else can. I reclaimed my life. She wanted me to be a fool, to carry the burden of her deception. Instead, I turned her betrayal into her greatest regret. I walked away with my dignity intact, my heart scarred but wiser, and a future I could finally call my own.